What's up everyone, OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got a bunch of great RPG news and discussion for you guys. I'm really enjoying a lot of the conversation on the channel, so I do appreciate that. But before we get into anything, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first, as we've got a bunch of new RPG content, Xenoblade stuff, and more coming up on the channel. Trust me, you guys are going to love it, especially if it's your first time here and you're not familiar with the content. Now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right into it, and we're starting off with Xenosaga. Now I know we talk a lot about Xenoblade on this channel, and trust me, we've got a lot of Xenoblade Chronicles X, more Xeno stuff coming up here, but I did want to talk about something that predated Xenoblade, and that's called Xenosaga. So some of you guys know about this, many of you guys probably don't, but this was an RPG made by Nintendo first party studio at this point now, Monolith Soft, and they made this game called Xenosaga on the PS2 back for Bandai Namco when they were making games with them after they split from Square Enix. So Xenosaga is a lot like, in some ways, Xenoblade. There's clearly some things that are obviously different, right, when it comes to other stuff, but there's a lot of tone, story progression that just remind me of Xenoblade. So many fans have been asking for Xenosaga on the Nintendo Switch, or Xenosaga to be brought back at some point. Now, we did get this answered a couple years ago, but I wanted to go over again what happened and if it could going forward now that we're a couple years out from when this was answered, because so many people still come to me and say, hey OJ, I know you love Xenoblade's awesome, but what about Xenosaga? I've heard about this PS2 type of game, but I never got a chance to play it, and the prices right now are ballooning on eBay and resellers, so sometimes some people can't really get it that way either. So many were thinking, well, maybe they'll release a Xenosaga collection for like 60 bucks on the Nintendo Switch or on somewhere, right? Well, that's not happening at this point, but let's go ahead and get into it, then we'll talk about it from here on out. Now, Bandai Namco did shoot down a couple years ago the Xenosaga collection because there were some rumors that were coming up, and it's been pretty much about 2 years ago at this point. We're coming up on the anniversary of this being shut down. So this is what Kazuhiro Hadara, he's the Tekken guy over at Bandai Namco, but he also oversees many other projects and what they greenlight and stuff like that. Now, in a response to a fan's question on Twitter, can we see Xenosaga come back in some way, shape, or form, like HD or whatever the case is? And here's what Mr. Hadara had to say on the matter. Quote, "This actually progressed to the remaster's plan, but failed in a profitable market analysis. Sorry guys, this plan will be difficult to resurface. ... So difficult to resurface. He didn't say that it was completely not going to happen at all, just difficult to resurface. Now, this was 2 years ago at this point, and Xenoblade's popularity, while it was definitely really good, right? It sold over 1 million at that point, but I don't think they had sold over 2 million at that point. And I don't want to give false hope or anything like that, but I do personally feel that with the rise of what Monolith Soft is doing with Xenoblade Chronicles, I think that if Xenoblade Chronicles X has a lot of success, and obviously Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has done very well, I do think that this isn't done just yet. It's not done just yet when it comes down to it. Hadara did even mention in the same thread, which I didn't report on before, but I think I can talk about it right now, 2 years later, but let's talk about it. Hadara did mention that he had been talking to Monolith Soft about this, and this is well after the acquisition from Nintendo, the developers behind the Xenosaga series, for a long time. So he had been talking to them for a number of years, it seems like it. But the fans that expressed the interest in Xenosaga HD Collection were not enough for Bandai Namco, and that's why I'm bringing up the whole thing about how Xenoblade is a lot more popular now at this point than it was. We have Pyra and Mythra in Smash, that's obviously from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, so more people are understanding the Xeno name. And if we get Xenoblade Chronicles X, that's another ticket in the Xenoblade pond as well. So I think that as the series gets more popular, as we maybe get a Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I do think that the fan clamoring for some of the previous games that predate Xenoblade will become a apparent. And even if you look at it, look at the popularity of the Nintendo Switch in 2019. Now you look at not at this point. I mean, we're going back then, it was like what, 70 million, maybe 60 something to 70 million. Now it's going to be over 100 million by the end of this year or the beginning of next year. So the sales of the system itself, which would be the target market for this, or the target audience would be the Nintendo Switch, have gone up dramatically. I think that if they reevaluated things with everything down at this point, with Xenoblade, the way that people are loving Xenoblade, the Nintendo Switch blowing up as much as it has with the sales, I do think that they should reevaluate if a Xenosaga remaster would be profitable, because I'm almost positive, especially with the crossover content with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, with Cosmos, and also with T. Elos as well in the game, I think that is enough to probably make this a million-plus seller on the Nintendo Switch, in my opinion. You also look at Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which launched in 2020, which sold 1.5 million units plus as of the last time that we even got sales, which was a while ago for that game. So there's clearly a market for this type of game. If you can sell millions of copies, there's clearly a market for this type of game with Xenosaga HD remaster, whatever they want to do, or even just a Xenosaga remake. I think that would be really cool if they just redid the first one in a really cool type of way, like a Trials of Mana type of thing as well. So I'm hoping that something comes of this, because these games are really good, and I think that they are different enough to kind of separate itself from Xenoblade and Xenosaga. They are different. Xenosaga is more of a traditional turn-based JRPG, where Xenoblade incorporates like some MMO type of gameplay elements, has a lot of different things that are kind of incorporated into the battle system that make it completely different from Xenosaga. So I feel that these two can coexist and coexist well, and there is a market now at this point. Now with Xenoblade's popping the way that it is, and how the Nintendo Switch sales have been where they are, I think that there is an opportunity for Xenosaga to come back. But that's just my opinion on the matter, guys. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, guys. I'm going to discuss just briefly about the new Monolith Soft RPG. We're sticking with the whole Monolith Soft thing here, right? So the new Monolith Soft RPG. Now, we don't have much information on this, and I don't want to act like I have a bunch of information to tell you guys, but a lot of you have been asking about this, and some of you guys haven't seen my previous videos that I've done on this matter, and we got a lot of new subscribers. So there will be some videos where I kind of go over some information that's been out there with certain topics, just so we can all understand what's going on and everyone can be caught up on the matter. So let's talk about this. So really where this comes from when it comes to the Monolith Soft new IP, which isn't associated, or at least people aren't associating that with Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which I'll talk about in just a little bit here. But yes, the new Monolith Soft IP, we saw two different pictures. We saw the fantasy type of lady that was there. Then we also saw like that cathedral or building that many people thought, oh, hey, well, wait a minute, maybe this is a Legend of Zelda type of game that they're working on. So I do think that with this whole Monolith Soft new IP, what is going on here? What is this, and what's going down with Monolith Soft? Well, first thing to know is that Monolith Soft has multiple teams, okay? Monolith Soft is not just one singular team in one singular location. They've got multiple locations. If I'm not correct, they have 5 or so when it comes down to 4 or 5 locations. They've got big teams with the Takahashi Team 1 that works on their big new games, Xenoblade Chronicles 1, Xenoblade Chronicles X. Some of them worked on the Definitive Edition, but then they also have supplemental teams that work on some stuff with Nintendo, in addition to working on other little things like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, for example, which that game was made by about 40 people or so with some outside contracted help. So Monolith Soft is kind of spread out a bit, but they also have their focused concentration of big developers with the Takahashi Team 1 that's been working on something, and we haven't known what that is. Now, the rumors all point to Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which it definitely could be. But then again, it also could be the rumored new IP, or this is what I've been thinking up lately, and I know this might be a little bit tinfoil or maybe just kind of making it up, but I've been thinking about this because there are two separate type of things. There are the people who believe that there is a new IP, there are the people who believe that there is a new IP, and also a Xenoblade Chronicles 3, especially with the rumor here. And I'm thinking that the new IP could be something from the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 team, the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torn of the Golden Country team, the people that made that, 40, 50 people or so. They just make a cool little action RPG on the Nintendo Switch, and then the Takahashi Team 1 is making the big Xenoblade Chronicles 3 game. I think that could be it. But where would they be releasing this? Would this be released one then the other? How long is it taking? Like, what's going on with that? And then there's like another theory where people say, okay, well, that new IP that they're saying that they're hiring for, whatever the case is just Xenoblade 3. But they're just revamping the series just in general, and maybe it was misconstrued or whatever the case is for something new, but it wasn't really anything at all. So that's also another thing that some people have said too. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this. What do you feel is the ultimate result of what Monolith Soft is working on when it comes to the finale of the Nintendo Switch? Because we're in the last half of the system. I'm guessing they have to have at least one more project out, right? We've already gotten 3 games from them if you count the DLC as well. So what else is coming? And we still talk about Xenoblade Chronicles X, right? I still think that's a thing for maybe a side team or whatever the case is, or maybe the bigger team did handle some of that too. So we just don't know what's going on with Monolith Soft, and they've been so quiet over the past few years. Yes, we got Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, and I get that, and that's awesome, and trust me, I love that game, which we're going to talk about that game compared to other games in the series and all that in just a bit. But at the same time, like, where is the big new game, right? Where is the big new stuff? We haven't had anything new since 2018's Torn of the Golden Country, and that was DLC for the main game, which can be played individually as well, but still DLC to the main base of the 2017 game, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So I am waiting. I am chomping at the bit, man. Where is something new from Monolith Soft? I need my Monolith Soft fix. So hopefully we get something in 2022. The rumor is Xenoblade Chronicles 3 announced and released in 2022. So I'm hoping that happens. I'm really hoping that happens. But anyway, what do you guys think about this? You let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, now moving on to the final topic here. We've got a discount on one of the best RPGs that I have ever played in my life, and one of the best, if not the best, Nintendo Switch RPG out there, and that is Shin Megami Tensei 5. The Steelbook Edition is aggressively priced at GameStop.com, and I know exactly why they're doing this. Apparently there's a Sega sale, but at the same time, Amazon has been having Shin Megami Tensei 5, the Steelbook Edition, right, for $49.94 or something like that, under $50. So GameStop says, hey, we're going to be competitive too. We're going to go ahead and throw this out as well. And yes, this game has been hard to come by. The shipments have not been plentiful in all areas. So if you can pick up this game, they have it at GameStop for $36.99. That is the Steelbook Edition of SMT5. And remember, from what I'm seeing here on the GameStop website, all of the shipping, any order over $35 is free shipping, which is one thing that I hate about GameStop, is that the shipping's not free, but it's like whatever. But if it's over $35, you do get that free shipping. So definitely take advantage of that. You're saving $23 on that. And if you have like the Pro card or whatever they have, you can maybe even save more, or you can get a $10 reward as well. So they have it available. A lot of them I can see there, but they're not plentiful in stock everywhere here in the US. So if you haven't picked up that physical edition of SMT5, it is available for you to go pick up at GameStop. Make sure you check. Link will be in the description. It is the full Steelbook, brand new. It's not the crusty type of used games, man. And I got a story for you guys, which I'll tell you guys later in a separate video, with buying used games from GameStop. Just probably shouldn't do that, but new games seems to be a go. And this one of my favorite games of all time, one of the best RPGs of all time, and a bestseller according to GameStop. A bestseller for them is SMT5. So I think this game is doing very well. I feel that people are very happy with the game overall, and people are enjoying the combat and the gameplay. I know I am loving the heck out of this game. I have well over 100 hours at this point, and I'm near the end of the game. I don't want to have any spoilers here, but I'm going for like almost a 100% run in the first playthrough on hard. So things have definitely been a little bit interesting, to say the least, when it comes to SMT, because I usually don't play SMT games on hard from the very beginning. I usually play on the second playthrough, but this one I was like, man, skip it. I'm going in. If we're going to experience SMT, we're going to experience SMT on the Nintendo Switch, and I'm so glad that I went on the hard mode at first, because it makes the game just so much more fun, in my opinion. The normal mode is just way too easy, doesn't allow you to use all the tools and stuff available. Like, you don't need to use everything. It just kind of comes a bit easier and quicker, whereas on hard, everything is just ratcheted up, and it just really makes you entrenched and ingrained into the gameplay and into the combat of the game. So yes, Steelbook Edition is available. Go pick it up. GameStop, $36.99. Definitely recommend the game, especially a good Christmas present too, maybe for a family member or friend or whatever the case is. So yeah, what do you guys think about all the different topics I've discussed here, from Xenosaga 2. What's going on here with Monolith Soft new RPG or something else? And also SMT5 discounts galore. Let's get it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.